When I watch television, is it me or do commercials have nothing to do with the products anymore? You see, this lady had a black eye. Did you see that? It threw me for a loop.
No, I didn't see
the
this one.
lady, she comes on TV. She got a black eye. She's crying. She's like, I smoke my husband me. And then a voice comes on and says, got milk? I was like, what the hell is that? What does that have to do with milk?
Yeah.
I ran out of deodorant in Paris and actually had to catch a train to London to find another stick. You know, they all carry that bread under their arms. Like, ew. Ew. Keep that bread for yourself. There's butter for that.
Jon Stewart won the Mark Twain Prize in 2022, and Dave Chappelle was one of the speakers honoring him. They've been friends since Dave's early days. So, of course, Dave knew exactly how to do it right. He honored Jon and absolutely roasted him at the same time.
I'm here because I love Jon Stewart. I'm here because he loves me. Because there's never been a time that I called on him and asked him for his help that he wasn't the first responder. When it was half-baked and I was doing my first movie and I needed a celebrity lift, Jon was the first one to say, I'll do it. I don't even know if you smoke weed. You seem like a coke guy.
Jon Stewart wasn't the only friend Dave roasted on his Mark Twain night. When it was Kevin Hart's turn at the Mark Twain Prize in 2024, Dave didn't hold back. Watch this clip of Dave Chappelle completely roasting the out of Kevin.
Kevin is one of the greatest comedians I've ever seen. And Kevin is one of the greatest men that I've ever known. Hello, Jerry. And I am honored to know somebody like you. I really wish you would have come when I won this award. No, niggas was busy, And one day, my son came home and was looking at me like I was crazy. And I said, what does that look in your face? And he said, Kevin Hart just said in an interview that you were one of the greatest comedians that ever lived.
He's unbelievable. We came in, crafted, we got some shit that we wanted to work on. Dave just went up there and talked.
And I was like, yeah. But in my mind, I was like, he did? And I thought to myself, if I ever had a chance to honor you in front of your family, boy, I'll come running. I just wish it wasn't this Sunday because I was supposed to be in Jamaica.
To Dave, to Chris, to Jerry, hey man, I'm a student of comedy. And when you get the greats to come out and support you in any way, shape, or form, it makes you feel like you're doing great shit.
I canceled plans.
Dave Chappelle has been stirring things up on TV since the late 90s. People call him controversial now, but he's always been this way. Watch this 1999 appearance on The Tonight Show and see for yourself.
You ever go like on those history tours? I went on one.
Yes, I do.
I went to Williamsburg, Virginia. They do it up because it's like old town Williamsburg. They preserved it from 1700. And they even go as far as to have like black dudes walking around like in the little costumes. Hey, how you doing now, sir? And then like I left the group. I split up from the group. And one of them black dudes seen me. He was like, hey, bro, help me.
Dave Chappelle is one of those comedians you either love or hate. But one thing most people can agree on, his 2005 scandal when he walked away from a reported $50 million contract to renew his legendary Chappelle's Show, was a serious aura move. He stepped away because he didn't agree with the direction the show was heading or the negative cultural impact it was starting to have. In a moment of clarity, Dave went on to hide in Africa for a couple of months. In a business where most people chase the biggest check, Dave proved not everyone is willing to sell their integrity. A year after his legendary exit from Chappelle's Show, Oprah Winfrey invited Dave Chappelle for an exclusive music interview. Believe it or not, at the time, people were calling Dave crazy for walking away from his show. But that conversation, he proved he knew exactly what he was doing.
I was doing sketches that were funny, but socially irresponsible.
So did you go to a psychiatric hospital?
In South Africa?
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, yeah, that's right. I was so
I'm only asking because I need to ask.
I gotta get people thinking, all right, who goes from America to Africa for medical attention?
Dave Chappelle said it best himself. Looking back, he wasn't even sure walking away was the right move. And yet, every time he talks about it, he turns it into comedy. No matter how heavy the moment was, he never fails to make people laugh at just how absurd the whole situation really was.
Where did he go? The show stopped and never came back. And like you said, 7 years later, you're just late for work.
Oh, yeah, I made a series of decisions.
Do you regret saying, I don't want this enormous sum of money?
Well, okay, look, Dave, it's very hard to go through something like this because no one's really done it before. So there's not too many people that don't think I'm crazy, right? I look at it like this. I'm at a restaurant with my wife. It's a nice restaurant. We're eating dinner. I look across the room. I say, you see this guy over here across the room? He has $100 million. And we're eating the same entree. The difference in lifestyle is minuscule. The only difference between having $10 million and $50 million is an astounding $40 million.
After coming back into the spotlight following a year-long hiatus, there was no better place for Dave to return than The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien.
People were saying, where's Dave? Where's Dave Chappelle? Where's he going? And then it turns out you took a trip to Africa. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I tell you, you hear a lot of black people say this, like when you go to Africa, especially your first time, you have this overwhelming feeling like you're home, which is true. I had that feeling like, man, this feels like home. I think I felt that way because there's a McDonald's in the airport. And next thing I know, I start hearing all the stories like comedian Dave Chappelle's in a mental institution in South Africa. And I was like, man, I must be losing my mind.
Yeah.
Because I thought this was the beach.
The legendary Chappelle's Show is famous for its absurd concepts and unforgettable characters. Many of them portrayed by Dave Chappelle himself. From Rick James in Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories to Tyrone Biggums, the hilariously chaotic original character, and of course Prince. Even though Prince only appeared in one episode, Dave's portrayal was so iconic that it became one of the most unforgettable sketches in the entire series. And here's the craziest part. Prince loved it. So much so that when he released his 2013 single Breakfast Can Wait music, he used an image of Dave dressed as Prince for the single's cover art. Here's a crazy fact. Dave Chappelle appeared on Late Night with Conan O'Brien and The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien more than 25 times from the late 90s to the early 2000s. So many times, in fact, that he once joked he did Conan's show more than Chappelle's show. But somehow, every single time they sat down together, Dave never failed to crack Conan up. Here are some of their most legendary moments.
I ran out of deodorant in Paris and actually had to catch a train to London to find another stick. Those people love to stink. And that's all.
What do you mean they love to stink? It's not something you do for the weekend.
That's their culture. This is my natural juices. They talking about this. I don't know why they all carry that bread under their arms. Like, ew. Ew. Keep that bread for yourself.
Yeah.
There's butter for that. You know? A lot of our friends are like corporate. So they always get on. They're like, how could you just raise kids? I mean, you're a college-educated woman. But they don't understand how powerful she is in the household. I have the money. She has the You understand?
Yes, I understand.
So we go to this strip club, and I'm smoking a cigarette in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figure I'm famous. Maybe I'll get away with it. So the stripper comes up. Stripper. She says, sir, could you put that cigarette out? I'm going to have you thrown out of here. You have your gonorrhea infested in my face. You know what I mean? It's like, you started it.
Nowadays, Dave is what some people would say as a controversial celebrity, with many people labeling him as transphobic because the amount of LGBTQ jokes he's been telling on his specials.
There's an idea that if you become famous, that means you did something gay.
Well, Jimmy, I'd love to answer that question. Don't answer that, Michael.